Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, and of course joining us as he does every Tuesday on the Sports Bash, Josh Hennigan, Ryan Rothstein filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Adam Caplan is back on the Elite Acura hotline. Of course, Football at 4 being brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games in Ocean Casino Resort. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more info, visit oceanac.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And Adam, just one practice seemed to be enough for the Eagles and the Colts this week. How you doing today?
Good to be with you, Josh. Yeah, it's weird. You usually don't see teams practice only one day. Usually they do it two for joint practice. But so I talked to the Colts today about it. The reason why is they played last Saturday night, and they did not want to go and practice Monday and Tuesday. It's one thing if the Eagles game and Colts game this week was Friday or Saturday. They could have practiced Tuesday and Wednesday, but it just didn't work out with their schedule. So that is to answer that question. Because I was curious. I've been going to these joint practices for like 15 years. They're very rarely one. I know the Giants and Jets did one day last year because they both had an open date, so they just decided to practice together. But that's why, it's because the Colts played last weekend.
So one of the things that was seen at the practice was Quez Watkins, Adam, finally was getting some real practice work in. Tell the folks about Quez Watkins and his hamstring. Yeah,
it was good to see number 16 out there because we know Olamide Zaccheaus right now is filling in for him as a number 3 receiver. Watkins clearly was ahead of him before he had the hamstring injury over 2 weeks ago. So they didn't let him do a lot, but he did work today doing individual work. So that's good. He's back. Britton Covey, though, Josh, it's not good for his chances of being the 5th receiver and punt returner. He's closer, but he's not practicing. He just hasn't. He had the same timeline as Quez Watkins, and he's not back yet. So Olamide Zaccheaus has been their main punt returner in practice. They've tried a couple other guys at it, but just for clarification purposes, it's been mostly Olamide Zaccheaus, who went to St. Joe's Prep.
Adam, let's talk about sticking on the wide receivers, we should say, after bringing up Quez Watkins. How about Devontae Smith? I heard he was just dominating out there. So give us what you saw. And, man, I look at Devontae Smith, and I really think he has the ability to be, a top 5 guy in this league. But give us what you've seen. Yeah,
Ryan, it's really incredible. See, this is the thing about him. We weren't really sure. We knew how gifted he was, high character, serious, dominating player from Alabama. But you just weren't sure whether he could do it at this level because of his size. I mean, he's in the 160s. There haven't been a lot of players in that weight who've been great at the next level. Deshaun Jackson, by the way, was in the low 160s when he was drafted. Probably was in the low 180s at the end of his career. He did put a little bulk on his lower body, but this guy's special. He's incredible. His body control is ridiculous. Remember that Washington game where he went deep middle and he came down hard and got right up? So he beat this second-year undrafted free agent of the Colts, number 38, so badly. The guy had great coverage on him, just went up and got it over him. He also had a big-time catch against that kid down the sideline. He was incredible. We always talk about A.J. Brown. I don't know. We really probably should talk more about Devontae Smith these days. And by the way, A.J. Brown put on a show. His only thing, guys, is a little bit of drop passes. This has been a little bit of an issue in his career. He has good, not great hands, but physically nobody could handle the guy. In fact, I've not since – I don't know how many practices I've seen him here with the Eagles and the joint practices last year with the Browns. I'm still waiting for somebody to cover this guy. It's pretty incredible. He's not like he's 6'3", like Terrell Owens. He's 6 foot, probably 3/4 of an inch, just under 6'1", but physically dominating. Just I don't know what else to say about this guy. It's pretty special. We get to see it. And by the way, I'll throw this one in here. Number 88, Dallas Goedert, pretty special too. It's another guy nobody seems to be able to cover. Every reporter who goes sees that. Every practice, nobody covers 11, 6, and 88.
Adam, sticking on the offense, one of the conversation points during the month of August for you guys in Inside the Birds podcast and InsideTheBirds.com, along with us here on 97.3 ESPN, has been the running backs. And today, Gainwell made some impressions.
Yeah. Gainwell, look, a couple of things here. We've kind of talked about this the last couple of weeks. It's a situational backfield. We've talked about how if it's a 2-minute offense, 4 minutes offense, it's Kenny Gainwell. At the end of a game, if they're up, he's the guy who's grinding out carries. Didn't know this when he was drafted. He'd be that guy. Also, passing down back, Gainwell and Swift. But Gainwell, now it's funny, I was given the wrong information, so I saw the pass. I thought it was Mariota. So what up happening is Mariota flipped it to Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell, I think, is a lefty, because I got blocked off from the fans in front of me. I mean, this pass is 40 yards downfield on a line. Now, Calcaterra, because the Colts were faked out by it, got open by about 5 yards, but the pass was great. So that was a gadget play. That was a pretty cool play. And look, Mariota, by the way, was better today. His accuracy, this is something I know I was pretty critical of him in our last show on Monday. But I have to tell you, he was way more accurate. See, the thing with Mariota, a couple things here. When I talked to the Raiders when he was with them, and they said physically it just was not right, and he couldn't run that well. His running has been great. He looks explosive. He's all the way back physically in the lower body. But the accuracy, he overthrows so many intended receivers, but today he was just better, and that was good to see. So we'll see what happens in tomorrow's game, on Thursday night's game. We'll see what he does in that game, but it was good to see him. And by the way, Tanner McKee and Ian Book barely practice. They get a lot of what's called the developmental period after practice, but it's basically Hurts and Mariota dominating each practice with the reps.
All right, let's switch to the defensive side of the ball, Adam Caplan, and give us what you've seen. Is there any more questions? Is there any more holes that need to be plugged here? How is it starting to shape up on the defensive side?
All right, Ryan, I think we pretty much know what the starting defense looks like with an asterisk, and I'll explain that in a minute. So when they go with a 4-man front, it's Cox and Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is the nose. Cox is a 3 technique. Because Hassan Reddick is out with his thumb surgery, he won't be ready until week 1. Brandon Graham is taking those reps. Of course, Josh Sweat is their other end, and he also stands up. There are 2 linebackers. There are 2 linebackers. I don't count Reddick as a linebacker. He's an edge rusher. They're 2 in their odd front. That's what they run. 2 inside backers. It's very clear to me. It's Dean, of course, who's been the Mike all training camp, the starting Mike. I got to give Zach Cunningham credit. We said when he signed we expected him to wind up starting, but we had got to see it happen. Well, as you know, Miles Jack retired about a week and a half ago. Zach Cunningham moved ahead of Miles Jack. The funny thing is Miles Jack was once they both signed, he was the first guy up with the starters. He didn't look great. Cunningham clearly has something left. And by the way, he's one of we have to go back a series of years. He's the tallest inside backer they've had in I don't know how long. He looks taller than me. Than Christian Ellis, who's also tall. And Nick Morrow is their top backup off the bench, and Christian Ellis is the 4th. And then at safety, now this is interesting. Reed Blankenship definitely is starting. We know that. He's their free safety. So Edmonds is slightly ahead of here. This is a surprise. Justin Evans. Justin Evans is getting more work with the ones. I would expect Edmonds as of now to start next to Blankenship, but that's not a lock. That's the one issue when I said asterisk. That's the one, guys, where we'll see. Justin Evans is, a guy who was a former second-round pick of the Bucks. He didn't take a snap on defense for 3 years because he was coming back from some significant injuries, but this guy's all the way back. Now, he's more of a box safety, but he's going to play on special teams. And then the question is, guys, City Browns doesn't get a lot of work with the ones. It's mostly with the 2s and 3s. The question is, we don't know how much he could push for that other starting safety job. But right now, Evans is pushing Edmonds, which is a little bit of a surprise. We didn't see that coming, but it's been coming the last week.
So with that being said, Adam, with the shaping up of the defensive starting unit, how do you think that impacts the initial 53?
It's a good question, Josh. So Kavon Wallace now would be their 5th safety. Obviously, City Brown is making it, and he right now would be more or less a 4th safety. But they split their safeties up, so it's just a matter of which guy backs up which. Kavon Wallace is going to have a tough time making it. I don't know if they're going to keep 5 safeties. Well, on our Monday morning show, which drops at 6 a.m. Eastern, we're going to do our initial 53-man roster the way we see it. Myself, Mosher, and DeCecco, we'll drop that Monday morning. And we'll see who does the best out of the 3 of us. But now the one thing that helps Wallace is he does play on special teams. As you know, their 2 best coverage special teams players are now out for the season. So that, with the same injury, that's obviously disappointing with Sean Bradley and McPherson. But that's going to be a problem. Now, their cornerback job, we know who their corners are, that nothing's changed. Job won the third outside corner job weeks ago. Right now, the fourth outside corner job is completely up in the air. Ringo certainly will make it as a fourth round pick. He has to make it. Mekhi Garner's competing for number 43. Mario Goodrich is right now might be the backup slot with McPherson out for the season. He didn't practice today. That might have been sort of like a rest day, and Josiah Scott is still on the roster. He's not a bad special teams player, but as you know, he just did not play well when he got pressed into service. So that fourth outside corner job, and Eli Ricks is also in the mix for it. It's definitely up for grabs.
Talking with Adam Caplan. Give him a follow on Twitter at Caplan NFL, InsideTheBirds.com. All right, so let's get to the good stuff here before we let you go, Adam. A couple of fights breaking out, baby.
Oh,
get the
yeah.
Boxing gloves, and how about Jason Kelsey, the old man in the middle, saying, "Don't hit my guy late. You're gonna get hurt for that."
All right. So Ryan, it's so funny. So and I jinxed it. I should have said anything. So. So 3 quarters of the way at practice, I said to someone in the media group, "Oh, well, nice, peaceful practice, beautiful day, mid-70s, very low humidity. It's kind of nice to go to a camp. I've been to about 15 camps this summer, and I've seen a fight almost out of every one of them. It's crazy." And then, wouldn't you know it, literally 30 seconds later, there was a skirmish, but it was broken up very quickly. Then later, not too long later, Kelsey. Now the guy Zaire Franklin, number 44. I'm like, this all happened very quickly. Kelsey got pissed off that they pushed Gainwell, and he came in late and went flying at Zaire Franklin. And, Jason, to his credit, he took ownership of it. He took it really hard. I guess he's kind of disappointed with the way that he acted, but he's just backing up his teammate. But it was a cheap shot. He hit the guy in the back. And, both benches, I was like, oh, man, let's hope nothing happens. And it was broken up quickly. It only lasted for like 20 seconds to 30 seconds, but I was at the one years ago when it was at the Washington Commanders when the Jets and Commanders had a fight, and the players got pushed to the fence. They knocked the fence down, and I got pushed down, and that was kind of scary because I got pushed on my back. So you never know what's going to happen with stuff. I saw a dust-up with the Chargers and Rams, which actually lasted 5 minutes. That's why the Rams and Chargers told me they stopped having practices together. And they practiced 15 minutes from each other in Orange County. That's the disappointing part of it. But you got to be careful with these things because, remember, they're wearing equipment, they're wearing helmets. You don't want anyone to break a hand, but thankfully no one else got hurt.
Yeah, that was a comment that was made on the Hard Knocks. They were asking, why are you swinging at a guy who's got a helmet on? It was one of the
exactly. You break your hand. No, it's not good.
I mentioned that at Hard Knocks. Adam, before we let you go, just give the folks a quick update on the upcoming Inside the Birds pods with the Eagles game on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, so we'll break down Thursday morning what we expect in that game, and we've got a ton of announcements coming. We just agreed we can't announce what it is. We got 2 things coming, one for our Patreon people, which is special, and we got another special show everyone will be able to see and hear, whether it's on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and obviously our pod platforms. But yeah, I just say that we're doing stuff we've never done before, and we appreciate. Obviously, we appreciate our agreement with you guys. We get to come on and promote our stuff, so it's pretty cool. That's all I'll tell you, and you'll know when we're going to make all the announcements together to start the season. We got like 5 different new things coming, so it's. But we also have if you want to check us out, also our Patreon group. Patreon.com/InsideTheBirds. We've got a live stream tonight. We've got a lot we'll probably have 20 or 30 people in there. We got it on Zoom. We get to talk to the people live. It's actually really cool.
For more information, go to the InsideTheBirds.com, the Inside the Birds podcast. Like, subscribe, download it wherever you get your podcasts. Follow Adam on Twitter at Caplan NFL. And he joined us today on the Elite Acura Hotline. Adam, great stuff today.
All right, guys. Thank you.